Okay, well, we will get back to our agenda, and next up we have Doug with Bruce County Paramedic Services. Doug.
Okay, I'll start with the key performance indicators, and these indicators are EMS industry best practices. They are used by most EMS services. Number one was the total Bruce County EMS responses per 1,000 population. And again, that's the number of patient carrying calls divided by the population, i.e. we're using 66,000, so we divide the calls by 66. And then number two, the length of time for London Ambulance Communications Centre to dispatch an ambulance from the time the call is received to crew notification. This is the time that the dispatcher, or that the phone rings in the community, in the communications center, answered by an ambulance communications officer, till the time that it's given to the actual ambulance crew, whether it be in the vehicle or on the phone in the station. And so these times I indicated before were a 90th percentile, but that is actually the highest of all the times. This was broken down for me by the CAC manager in London, because I was concerned about the fact that it was 3 minutes and 27 seconds. And when it was broken down for me, she explained that that was, out of 10 calls, that was the highest number. And there would have been some sort of anomaly as to why that took that long. But I can assure you that the rest of them, I'll give you an example of the calls leading up to that. First one was 32 seconds, second one was 32 seconds, 38 seconds, 47 seconds, 47 seconds, 51 seconds, 54 seconds, 59 seconds, and then 3 minutes and 34 seconds. And that's why that number's like that. So you can be assured that most of them are dispatched in a lot less time than that one, as they very well should be. And it's something that we're constantly talking to the communications center about, just to see if we can improve it any way possible. Number three, length of time from crew notification to arrival at scene. And this is the highest priority call. This is an ultimate life and death call where they have lights and siren on all the time. And basically, it's the time the crew's notified by the dispatcher until they actually arrive at the scene of the call. So those are the times across the board there. Cost to provide 1 hour of ambulance service, well, that's the budget divided by the annual hours of service. In our case, the annual hours of service is 56,000 hours. Number five is compliance with council-approved ambulance response times, and in these we're meeting or exceeding criteria across the board. And I should indicate that we don't have the actual numbers for 2015 yet, but I'm anticipating that they will be fairly good. And number six, this is for the Ontario Fire Marshal and Emergency Management. This is the annual requirement for our emergency management program. And as you can see, we've met or exceeded our criteria across the board, as we have for 2015. So moving on to major operational initiatives for 2016. Number one, again, as Charlie alluded to, is the merging of paramedic services and long-term care. And again, this goal has been put on hold given department goal number 2. The Bruce and Grey County Councils adopted a recommendation that a facilitator be hired to facilitate work on a jointly funded paramedic services analysis between the two communities. So again, that is anticipated to take 8 months. And both Deputy Chief Schaus and Deputy Chief Lux are here. So when I retire, Deputy Chief Schaus will be taking over for 4 months, and after that, Deputy Chief Lux will be taking over for the remaining 4 months. And we all worked on we worked on the 2016 budget together, and we've worked on the 2016 community business plan. So I know they're well versed in all of this, and I have all the faith in the world that they'll be able to continue on like nothing's changed. Department goal number 3 This was a review of our services deployment plan. So again, this hinges on the outcome of this analysis between Gray and Bruce. I think that we need to wait to see what the outcome of that is before we proceed with our deployment plan review to see what it's going to look like. And again, similar, department goal number 4, paramedic services strategic plan, same thing. We'd like to develop, Bruce County Paramedic Services would like to develop a 3 to 5 year strategic plan, basically to go along with the county strategic plan that's already in place. And goal number 5, we need to review and update all county emergency plans. This includes the regular emergency plan, the pandemic plan, and anything else that we haven't looked at for a while, because this is something that never goes away, and we have to constantly maintain all of these plans as they're changing. People are changing, phone numbers are changing, and we just have to keep on top of it. So, department goal number 6. This is our 2017 ambulance service review. We have an ambulance service review by the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care every 3 years, and we're due in 2017. It would be in April of 2017. So work in preparation for that to make sure that everything is proper and everything is in its place for the inspectors to look at and review. Take some time to make sure that we've got everything together. So that will have to start near the end of 2016 and right into 2017 up until the time that the service review starts. And major capital initiatives for 2016, replacement of 2 ambulances. We're replacing 2 ambulances in 2016, and the capital budget for that purpose was $310,000. So essentially, that sums up our business plan for 2016.
Good, thank you, Doug. Questions from committee? Pretty easy on you, Doug.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have library.
Good afternoon. This report will be just a bit longer than my last update. The 2016 business plan for the library is for the most part a continuation of the initiatives identified in the 2015 business plan. I feel it's important we continue to build on the work we started in 2015 and to meet our strategic goals in order to improve services and efficiencies. So we will continue to align with the 3 aspects of this strategic plan identified. The KPIs for 2016 are outlined and continue from 2015 with some additions. Before I speak to the additions, I want to speak to the program numbers that you see for 2015 year end and then the projected for 2016. It may appear as though we are working backwards, but I prefer to characterize it as we're working more efficiently in 2016. So as our CAO mentioned in her report, we had tremendous growth in our program area for 2015. I've analyzed the number that we have as our final for 2015, and there are some improvements we can make in our methodology for gathering statistics of our programs. These are manually gathered by our staff in our branches. And there's some different interpretations of what a program is and how to count a program. So I think that's contributed to this large number. Also, we have put together a program planning committee late in 2015 that will work to plan our programs with outcomes in mind and tie them back to our strategic plan and the county's strategic plan. So I feel as though We will have growth. It may not be in the quantity of the programs, but it will be in the quality of the programs that we provide. So instead of taking that fantastic number from 2015 and projecting more of the same, I've reevaluated what we did in 2015 and projected what I feel we can accomplish in 2016, given our goals and our strategic plan. Added for 2016 are our website visits. So the library website's an important service point for us, and we offer access to our online catalog, e-resources, interlibrary loans, events calendar, and many other of our services through the website. Gauging the interaction with our website is just as important as the number of items we circulate. It indicates how the public is using our services, and I'm told by IT that the library website is the third most visited of the websites, of all the county websites. We'll be measuring social media, number of followers, and this is an important service point for us to interact with the public. We frequently answer questions from the public and gather feedback on our programs and services through these accounts. And staff training hours. This KPI has been altered from the 2015 metric where we measured number of staff trained, and we've changed it to reflect how many hours are spent by staff on technology training. And I believe measuring hours spent in training is a better indicator of the investment needed to keep staff up to date on the services we offer. Moving on to the initiatives, I do have a correction. My apologies for the typo, and I will make sure an updated copy is provided. Number 2, museum library management structure for improvement. That should be $600, not $6,000. So a good typo. I'm not adding a zero. I'll take one away. And we have 3 major initiatives for 2016. So adjusting our programs and services is a continuation from 2015, and focusing on serving services that reflect the needs of our tech-savvy customers. So we will continue to grow and enhance our programming. Staff resources are, of course, limited and need to be balanced with all of the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. We'll work with our IT department on new technology initiatives. We're introducing more and more technology into our programs, and this presents some need for more training. So the estimated budget cost, we of course have a program budget already established in our operations, and that's $16,000. And approximately 400 hours of staff time for training in current technologies is budgeted for. And the 2,200 hours of staff time planning and delivering programs is an estimate based on the amount of time staff spend delivering and planning, as it says, but also accounts for the amount of time spent the planning, program planning committee spends meeting, and time spent by our program coordinator. And number 2, working along with the director of museum. Again, it's approximate cost of $600, not $6,000. And then library accreditation is our 3rd. It's under capital because we will be doing some capital upgrades, and we have set aside funds in the reserves, capital reserves for that. Accreditation ensures that we are providing equitable service at all of our branches, regardless of their size. It looks at standards for accessibility, collections, use of technology, online access, governance, and operational policies, as well as early literacy and external partnerships. So this will be an undertaking for 2016. And then we have a 2017 project identified and the indicator index. I'm happy to take questions.
Good, thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, museum. Most viewed, yes. Are we ever going to live that down, Kelly?
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And I'd just like to mention Janice Mawini, our business manager, is with us today through the presentation and has been part of the business plan process as well. So she's quite familiar with this document. One of the things I just wanted to chat about when we first talk about the key performance indicators, there have been some changes from 2015. The two that are consistent is in regards to the cost per household and the staff completion from a loyalist perspective. The current number for the year-to-date is the Q3 number and the cost per household, so that will be updated when we get our final numbers as well. The new KPIs that we're focusing on for this year, the other four, in regards to number of membership, community partners, social media, and number of total visitors, is really speaking to the museum being relevant to the communities that we serve, most importantly, not just within Saugeen Shores where we're physically located, but how we are able to engage externally, being a true county facility and a true county museum. So the social media engagement, as well as the total number of visitors, the community partners and memberships are all important factors when we take a look at that type of indicator. So overall, on the overview sheet in regards to our major initiatives, some of these initiatives, as you would see as well, are still similar to some of the 2015 initiatives, and that's because some of those will still be very important and very relevant as we move into 2016. And they will also, the newer ones that are coming in there are parts of our museum strategic plan, so the 5-year strategic plan that we initiated and started on a path down last year. So you'll see 4 of the 6 are directly related to operational, and the 6th one is when it relates specifically to capital, because it is a construction build within the museum walls. So the first item in regards on the operational side, our feature traveling exhibit. This is, you're all very familiar with our summer exhibits. This year we're very excited to have Chagall for Children coming to the museum. It's a very hands-on interactive exhibition with 14 multisensory stations of Marc Chagall's work. Marc Chagall, for those of you who have seen his work, is quite colorful, and he's a very renowned artist, so we're very excited to have that exhibit coming. And we're also, more importantly, excited to have the Southampton Art School be partnering with us as we engage with them to do a youth show in the Bruce Gallery upstairs. So we wanted to have a world-renowned artist and then our Bruce County artists with us as well in the summer months. The second operational goal, which is the revised tourism strategy, including heritage and culture, we started to initiate this concept last year, came up with an initial draft plan. We will be moving into 2 additional phases with that. The second phase will be for the business manager, Janice, and myself to work alongside with economic development and including the library in that portfolio as well, to really start to identify what is it that we really need to move forward on formalizing that plan and then bringing it forward as a point of recognition, or actually recommendation rather. So that we do see that as a phase approach to that plan. The third one, identified previously by the library director, 600 hours that would be staff time absorbed, where both the library director and myself will be working to come back with a recommendation on that. The fourth item, which is the museum strategic plan, is a very, it's a very large item, but what we are doing is kind of taking it piece by piece. So there are a number of initiatives, most specifically and most recently that we've engaged with is the accommodation plan, which we will be bringing forward at the next council meeting in April when we are on site at the museum to have further discussion about that. But there are also a number of the other pillars that were in the strategic plan that are very relevant to the work that we're doing and very relevant to how we plan moving forward. So the county awareness plan, the digital access strategy, the forging of partnerships and relationships are all ongoing and will be at different capacities. So I do anticipate in year 2017, 2018, 2019 that some will have more relevance or be a higher goal unto themselves, like the accommodation plan. The fourth one, the fifth one rather, in regards to develop and launch a long-term donor strategy. This was something that was also identified in the museum strategic plan, and at this point, we're just kind of scratching the surface because we've had a few stops and starts in regards to a donor strategy, developing one, but we haven't been successful, so we really need to take a step back and kind of analyze what it is we're asking the public for, because there are many different asks in the community. So in order to be truly successful in that area, we really need to sit back and devise a plan and identify the cause and the strategy. Number 6 is our capital initiative. And as you can see, we have 2 in-house exhibits that we'll be launching. More importantly, the first one is the Rise of Community, which will be part of our June opening for this year. And the First Nations one, although we had hoped that we would be able to engage in 2016, there have been, it's an ongoing process with the collaboration with First Nations as well as a variety of funders. So at this point, I'm still in touch with the funders and negotiating and talking about where we're going to go with that. So the First Nations project, while still a very important project for us, obviously hinges on a couple of key partners coming together. So at this point, I think what we will be doing is moving to a Plan B, which would be a lesser scaled down version of the original concept. But like I said, I still have to have a few other discussions before we move that forward. But that's why you see an outcome of 2017 in the revised document. And then again, we just move into the KPIs for the description for 2017. A lot of the same projects. The accommodation plan will be one that will be further developed. The launch again for 2017 of one in-house exhibit, so that would be the remaining permanent gallery space, which we're looking at doing a focus around the 150 years of Bruce County, again in the permanent area. Further development in the museum strategic plan, which was currently identified. Feature traveling exhibit, we're looking at a couple of feature traveling exhibits for 2017 and 2018. Then, of course, the continuation of the tourism strategy, and then anything that will be identified out of a recommendation for the museum library recommendation. And then, of course, the performance indicators index is included as well. And that's that for that plan.
Good, thank you, Kathy. Questions or comments?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, again, I would like to thank all of our directors and our CAO and all the managers that helped put these reports together. I know it personally helps me, and I think it helps Milt too, because now we know the projects, we see the projects, and I think we can say to the public when we get asked, this is what's going on, and we have a better idea what's going on. So thank you, everyone, for sharing these thoughts with us. So, Paul, did you have something to say?
You said it all.
Okay. Okay, so moving on to closed meeting. We do not have a closed meeting now, is that correct? Okay. Okay, if there's nothing else, motion to adjourn. Milt, Ann, all those in favor?